You see the notification pop up. Words. We need to talk. Your stomach tightens. Your mind immediately jumps to the worst possible outcome. Your heart rate rises, even though nothing has actually happened yet. What's strange is this. Those words don't mean anything specific. They don't say what the problem is. They don't say when. They don't even say if something bad happened. And yet, your brain reacts as if danger is guaranteed. It's not just you. This response is so universal that those 4 words have become a cultural shorthand for dread. They've launched 1,000 anxiety spirals, sparked countless sleepless nights, and made people stare at their phones like they're holding a live grenade. Today, we're going to break down why that happens and what it reveals about how your mind handles uncertainty, social threat, and silence. Because understanding the mechanism behind your panic is the first step to gaining control over it. Your brain is incredibly good at dealing with clear threats, a loud noise, an angry face, a visible problem. When danger has a shape, your brain knows exactly what to do. Fight, flee, or freeze. The response is immediate and appropriate. But vague threats, those are much worse. When someone says, "We need to talk," your brain is given just enough information to panic, but not enough to resolve anything. So it fills in the blanks, and it almost never fills them with good news. That's because your brain evolved to assume the worst when information is missing. From an evolutionary standpoint, pessimism kept you alive. If you heard rustling in the bushes and assumed it was nothing, you died. If you assumed danger and were wrong, you lived. So when information is unclear, your brain defaults to threat. This is called negativity bias, and it's wired deep into your limbic system, the part of your brain responsible for survival. It doesn't care about being accurate. It cares about keeping you alive. And in the absence of clarity, it chooses fear. What makes "we need to talk" so uniquely triggering is that it gives your brain just enough context to activate your threat detection system, but withholds the details that would allow you to assess the actual level of danger. It's like hearing a smoke alarm go off but not being able to see or smell any fire. Your nervous system goes into high alert, scanning for danger it can't locate. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain processes social rejection using the same neural systems as physical pain. That means a vague message from a boss, partner, or friend doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it feels dangerous. Studies using brain imaging have shown that social exclusion activates the anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that lights up when you experience physical pain. This isn't metaphorical. To your brain, social threats and physical threats are processed through overlapping pathways. Your mind immediately starts asking, "Did I do something wrong? Am I about to be rejected? Am I in trouble? Is this relationship ending? Am I about to lose something important?" And because the message doesn't give answers, your brain stays stuck in anticipation mode. It cycles through these questions over and over, searching for certainty it can't find. Anticipation is worse than the event itself. Waiting for pain hurts more than pain. This has been demonstrated repeatedly in psychological research. When people are told they'll receive a mild electric shock, the anxiety during the waiting period is often rated as more distressing than the shock itself. Why? Because during anticipation, your brain is running endless simulations. It's not experiencing one bad outcome. It's experiencing dozens of imagined bad outcomes, all at once. That's exponentially more exhausting than dealing with a single real problem. What really escalates the anxiety isn't the message. It's the silence after. Your brain hates unfinished stories. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Your mind fixates on unresolved situations far more than resolved ones. It's why cliffhangers in TV shows are so effective. It's why you remember the tasks you didn't finish more vividly than the ones you completed. So once you read, "We need to talk," your brain starts looping, replaying conversations, searching for mistakes, rewriting the past, analyzing tone and word choice, remembering every small interaction that might be relevant. Not because it's useful, but because your brain wants closure. It's trying to solve the puzzle before the conversation even happens. It's attempting to regain a sense of control in a situation where you have very little. This is called rumination, and it's one of the most common features of anxiety disorders. But even in people without clinical anxiety, vague social threats trigger this same pattern. Your mind becomes a courtroom where you're simultaneously the defendant, the prosecutor, and the judge. And the trial never ends because there's no evidence to examine. When there's no information, your imagination takes over. And imagination has no filter. It doesn't care about probability. It cares about possibility. Your mind isn't asking, what's likely? It's asking, what's the worst thing that could be true? This is where catastrophic thinking comes in. Your brain doesn't gently consider a range of neutral or positive outcomes. It immediately jumps to the extremes. You're getting fired. Your relationship is ending. Someone is seriously ill. You've hurt someone deeply without realizing it. You're about to be publicly humiliated. These scenarios aren't random. They're drawn from your deepest insecurities and fears. Anxiety doesn't create new fears. It amplifies existing ones. It finds the things you're already worried about and turns up the volume until they drown out everything else. That's why anxiety feels so convincing. It's not lying. It's overprotecting. Your brain genuinely believes it's helping you prepare for danger. It thinks that by imagining every worst-case scenario, it's giving you a survival advantage. But here's the problem. In modern life, most of our threats aren't physical. They're social, professional, and relational. And for those kinds of threats, catastrophic thinking doesn't prepare you. It paralyzes you. Your imagination, in the absence of facts, becomes your enemy. It scripts elaborate disasters, complete with dialogue, consequences, and emotional fallout. You live through the breakup before it happens. You feel the shame of getting fired before anyone said a word. You experience the rejection before the conversation even begins. The goal isn't to calm yourself by forcing positivity. That doesn't work. Telling an anxious brain to just relax or think positive is like telling someone in physical pain to simply smile. It dismisses the real neurological process that's happening. Instead, you interrupt the uncertainty. Simple things help. Ask for clarity. Respond to the message. Can you give me a sense of what this is about? Or, is this urgent? Most people don't realize how much anxiety their vague messages cause. A simple clarifying question can cut your anxiety in half immediately. Delay interpretation. Recognize that your first emotional reaction is not the truth. It's your brain's threat response. You can acknowledge the feeling without treating it as fact. This creates space between the stimulus and your response. Label the feeling instead of obeying it. Say to yourself, this is my brain perceiving social threat. Or, I'm experiencing anticipatory anxiety. This simple act of labeling activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, and slightly dampens the amygdala's alarm response. Neuroscience shows that naming your emotions reduces their intensity. Ground yourself in the present. Anxiety lives in the future. It's always about what might happen. Bring yourself back to right now. What's actually true in this moment? Right now, you're safe. Right now, nothing bad is happening. Right now, you're just waiting for information. Set a boundary with your own thoughts. You don't have to engage with every catastrophic scenario your brain presents. You can notice the thought and choose not to follow it down the rabbit hole. Think of anxious thoughts like pop-up ads. They appear, but you don't have to click on them. The next time you see those words, remember, your reaction isn't weakness. It's a brain doing what it was built to do, protect you from the unknown. The problem isn't the message. It's the silence your mind fills in after. And that's something you can learn to manage, not by eliminating the anxiety, but by understanding it, naming it, and refusing to let your imagination write a story that hasn't happened yet. You're not broken. You're human, and your brain is doing its best with incomplete information. The key is recognizing when your threat detection system is overreacting to social ambiguity and choosing, in that moment, to seek clarity instead of spiraling in silence. Because most of the time, the conversation you're dreading is nowhere near as devastating as the one you've already had with yourself.